Okay, before we actually take up it further, let us browse through our previous sutras. What I was saying is that most of us consider yoga as twisting the body and pumping the air. This is what has been basically yoga has come to. This has been the deterioration of this beautiful scientific method. So, yoga, okay, let us not westernize it, even its name. It is yoga. Yoga of what? Yoga of individual with cosmos. That means individual consciousness merging back into universal consciousness, cosmic consciousness, recognition of self as cosmic consciousness. That is our Swarupa. Swarupa. We are stuck up in our Swabhava. From Swabhava to Swarupa is our journey in any system. Yoga, Patanjali Yoga Sutras guide us step by step to conquer and undo whatever we have done, to conquer the limitations of mind and intellect, equally of body and somewhat prana. These are the limitations which prohibit us, or which rather block our experience of cosmic consciousness. This is also at the level of understanding, which is experiential understanding, not only intellectual. So, yoga is adding something to someone, some entity getting added with something called yoga. What is getting added here? In your behavior, in your sabhava, certain other things are to be added, certain other things are to be taken away. That means cleansing and improvement both are going to be done at the same time. So, yoga is not working on breath and body, rather, it is working on mind. As per Patanjali, yoga is working on the mind. Problem is that we have been working by the mind all through without taking care of what is the condition of that mind through which we are working. For example, we work in this world by the body. All our works are taken up by our this physical entity called body, and our performance depends on the health and normalcy of this physical instrument called body. So, working by the body is our day to day, whatever we are doing, but working on the body is gymming. Working on body is twisting your body. Working on body is running, swimming, massage, taking care of it by giving it healthy food. That is working on the body. Okay. So working by the body and working on the body is different. Although we work both ways. Even in gym you are working, but you are working in a specific way that is directed towards this body, rather than you are trying to derive any effect of it in the outer world. Correct? So that is working on the body. In the same way, Patanjali says you have to work on your mind, because although we have been working by the mind without even taking care of whatever basic things we have to take care about the mind. So working on the mind is the premise of Patanjali Yoga, and Patanjali Yoga Sutras are that step by step guidance of for what all is to be done. But before anything is given as a practical or practice, you must be clear about its theoretical aspect. In our systems, we say प्रायोगिक पक्ष के पहले सैद्धांतिक पक्ष बिल्कुल साफ होना चाहिए. You have to have this clarity that application of that theory which you are about to apply, that theory itself should be clear. Then only you will be able to deduce right kind of lessons or right kind of understanding you will be able to extract out of that experimentation. Because experiments are aimed at deriving some result in a particular domain. Here, our experimentation is with mind. In this, we will take help of many other things like breath, like body, like our activities, and so on and so forth. But all this experimentation is to be done to see what we have achieved at the level of mind. And therefore, theory should be clear. Siddhantik Paksha, the principles should be clear. Yoga, in the first sutra says, before beginning, it is said in the first sutra, Ath Yoga Anusasanam. Thus the discipline of yoga. Now the discipline of yoga. Now the discipline of yoga indicates as if there have been already a lot of talk about several other disciplines. That is why this word comes. Now the discipline of yoga. That means to be able to attempt yoga, you have to be disciplined in some other ways before this discipline can be given. What are those disciplines? If you wish to know, you can go back to Patanjali Yoga Sutras earlier talks, which are probably uploaded on YouTube. You can listen to them and you can find out what it is. Because basic discipline is needed. After that, new discipline is given. Yukta ahara viharasya. At least these two things you should look at. Yukta ahar, yukta vihar means something which you feed on should be controlled and should be moderated, should be judged on its qualities of what it is giving to you at the level of body and mind, and also your interaction with the world. What is your vihar? What all places you visit? Whether you spend most of the time in discotheque or a pub or a place of worship or in nature, where are you interacting? That will also define lot of characteristics in your behavior. Lot of traits will be defined by your this interaction. So these two things you should take care primarily. I'm not talking in detail. So Ath Yoga Anushasana means that. Now the discipline of yoga. The second sutra was Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. One word, it is combined. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is restraining the mind stuff from taking various vrittis, taking up various vrittis or getting engaged in various vrittis. For that, we should understand what is vritti. Vritti, sanskar, and vasana. These are the three levels of our mental activities and mental environment. Vrittis are the movements of thoughts which are the causation for the actual thoughts. Thoughts which become perceptible in our mental space, mind space. What is vritti? Vritti is the original movement of mind which creates thoughts. Vritti is not thought, although vritti, as the name denotes, vritta means circle and vritti means a small circle. So when your energy, mental energy, moves in a small circle around some point of attraction or repulsion, it creates a vritti. That vritti gets converted into creation of certain thoughts. Those thoughts are perceptible thoughts. So vrittis to be controlled. That is what it said. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. It is not saying you should control your thoughts. Directly, thoughts are not to be controlled. You have to control your vrittis. Now, this is a difficult thing to understand. practically, because you don't know what your vrittis are, you only know what your thoughts are. But by following the rules of cause and effect in this domain, you can definitely understand what type of vritti you are carrying at this moment by the quality of the thoughts. So vritti is somewhat known, going tracing your thoughts to its causes. And therefore, when Patanjali or any other system of working on mind will take you to the state of silence where you just observe your thoughts. Thoughts are not important. What we say, whatever type of thoughts are coming, just be aware. Don't have to struggle with it. You don't have to stop them. You don't have to fight them, and you don't have to chase them and support them as well. That means thoughts are nowhere important. Whatever thoughts are coming, we are okay with that. We are rather interested in getting to the bottom of this, which means thoughts are just the ripples at the mind stuff. If we allow and we become aware of thoughts, then between the thoughts, we can see through, we can see the bottom. When there are no ripples, you can have your vision on something which is deeper than it. So, what is at the bottom of your mind can become visible, or at least you will be able to penetrate to a distance from just the surface. And one thing which you should always know about mind, that wherever our attention will go, it will be able to clear out all the negative stuff there. That means wherever our awareness will go in the mind, that negativity can be tackled by itself. You will not have to do anything else. That means only our awareness is needed. More and more awareness is needed to change our mind. Nothing else. Awareness not about thoughts, but awareness on the mind. Now the problem is, mind is not a thing which is visible or perceptible. It is ripples on the mind which are available to us as thoughts. They are perceptible. What we are saying is that focus on the mind. We are not saying focus on thoughts. Become aware of your mind, not become aware of your thoughts. See, we begin with awareness of thoughts, but what is your goal there? When we say, look at this picture, do you see all those squares and triangles? Yes, I see. Okay. Between them, there is this object. It's, I can see now. Which means when you become aware of thoughts, you also become aware of the space in which thoughts appear. Okay. That space where thoughts appear is mind. And when we are able to become aware of that space where from the thoughts are emerging, we start working on our vrittis. Working on vrittis means vrittis are actually a foreign stuff. Vrittis means mind is entertaining something else other than itself. When mind is aware of itself, there are no thoughts. When mind becomes aware of something other than itself, thoughts appear. Vrittis means there are things which are already there in your mind which are creating ripples. So vrittis are actually outcome of your sanskaras. Sanskaras means what you have already experienced, and what you have experienced will be also divided in two categories. Things which you have experienced once in a lifetime, or maybe once or twice, or maybe other category would be where you have this opportunity of experiencing those things repeatedly. So out of those things which are experienced repeatedly, or you indulge in them repeatedly, that will become your dominant sanskara. So dominant sanskaras are the basic cause of vrittis. Now, after having understood so far, we should now move to another term, which is known as vasana. Vasana is what we call coloring. tonality. The word is in Sanskrit means coloring, vasana. So what is the color of your mind stuff? The color of mind stuff now primarily divided in three ways. We already know three different stratas of our mind, three different tonalities of our mind, which is called Sata, Raja, Tama. The tonality or vasana is actually that color. Now we can't say that so clearly that we are sattva or we are rajasic or we are tamasic, because we keep on moving from one vasana to another, but still overall you are falling in some of these bands. Most of us fall in the category where we are dominant in tamas and rajas. These are the bands, these are the colors, dominant colors in us. Someone will be more of rajasic, less of tamasic. Someone will be the balance of rajasic, tamasic. Someone will be more tamasic than rajasic. That's it. Hardly you will find people who have not decided to work on their mind and vasana and vrittis, etc. You will find them not in the domain of or in the category of sattva. They will not have this color of stuff. This type of mind stuff is not available. Our goal is to gradually move from tamas to rajas, from rajas to sattva. That means dominantly we should be sattva. That is vasana. When you will have sattva as your vasana, right, then this sattva or sata will also be manifested in your bhavana, which is emotion. Satya vasana, sat vasana becomes sadbhavana in outer world. Understood? So you will not be able to truly practice sadbhavana, good feelings, benevolent feelings, unless until your mind stuff has gotten this hue of sattva. What you will be loaded with then? Asad bhavana, which will fall in two categories. This is swartha bhavana, which is rajasic. Swartha bhavana without harming anyone is called rajasic. Swartha bhavana, even at the cost of harming somebody else, is called tamasic. Asad bhavana is of two types. Sat bhavana is only one type. Asad bhavana is two types. Swartha bhavana loaded with some sattva, which is rajas. I am justified. If I am looking for my profit, I am not attaining that profit at the cost of harming or deceiving someone. That is rajasic. I am in swartha bhavana, which is at the cost of even harming others, then it is tamas. So most of us who are educated, literate, logical, social, alias antisocial, we mostly feel that we are in the justified domain of behavior, which means rajasic. We will not stop someone on the road and just looking at him, offer him all our salary. That, okay, I find you are very poor. You're not able to probably arrange your food also. You don't have any shelter. And therefore, I am offering whole month's salary to you. Please go and at least arrange a few things for yourself. That is sadbhavana. What we will say, Acha, you are not having any work. Please come and serve me. I will pay you. That means you do for me, I will do for you. That is rajasic. So moving from this place to a little higher place where we mostly think of goodness, spreading goodness around, not caring. That means our own selfish interests, selfish motives are put to the back burner. Minimum this much is needed to create the coloring of mind to this place. And I'll tell you what is the ultimate advantage of this. Advantage should also be known, right? See, what is the advantage? When we are in rajasic bhavana, our mind, our buddhi, our intellect is engaged in dual calculation. What is that dual calculation? How I will benefit, how he will benefit. Although it is justified legal or whatever way, moralistic, but you're occupied in two calculations at the same time. How it will benefit me, how I can benefit this. Compared to tamasic, where again the same thing is there. How I will benefit myself, that is better. I don't care whether his benefit happens or not. He will be at peace, more peace than the person who is in Rajasic Bhavana. But the problem is, such a person, after having conducted through his own plans and programs, he will find that he is surrounded with more and more problems because no one is going to accept it. Others will resist it. So Rajasic behavior is well tolerated. Tamasic behavior, although it may be initially feeling like that we are less burdened, we don't have to calculate anything. We will have to just think what is our profit here. But if you live by that paradigm, you're sooner or later you are going to be surrounded with more problems. That means their problems increase. So tamasic vasana creates more problems, more engagements with the world. That means more and more problems and more agitation of mind. More and more vrittis will emerge because all the time you have to deal with one or the other problem. Now move to sattva. There you have only one calculation. How can I benefit this person? That's it. You're not looking for your own benefit at all. So your calculation, that one part of calculation is gone. Secondly, when we are not engaged in looking for our own profit, what happens? We respect our limitations and therefore save our energies. But when we are interested in our own profit, we challenge our limitations. That means in Rajasic, you will be always feeling challenged. How I can derive more out of it? How I can milk more out of it? Then you will challenge your own limitation. That means all the time your goal or endeavor would be to improve upon your capacities in transacting in this world so that you can gain more and more. Although you may still say that why I gain more, I will also benefit others more. Correct? But they're not going to be liberated by this. Look at it. What is the difference? And a sadhu, a person who doesn't have a penny in his bag, traveling around, respects his own limitation that I am not as rich to support someone financially. So what I can do, I will still do something good by way of right kind of advice, probably. I respect my limitations. He will not say, no, I'll have to earn more, do more, become the richest man on the earth so that I can feed the whole earth. No. So sattva will disengage you from the world in many ways. Rajas will engage you with the world in more than one ways. Tamas will engage you with the world in most undesired ways. So that is why vasana becomes important. But vasana is not the subject matter of this lifetime itself. Vasana or the coloring of chitta is not decided in this life itself. We are not born with the clean slate or without color of mind stuff. We already have some vasana. We are born with that vasana. So therefore, each and every person is different. Some people are by way they are selfish. You can't do much. Some people are charitable. They are forgiving. They are generous. They are supportive. And some are not. So you should not challenge them. Why? Because that is their vasana earned in many, many lifetimes. Don't try to change. In this one lifetime, you cannot undo unless until they become interested. And how do we change? By way of chitta vritti nirodha. Correct? So yoga chitta vritti nirodha. So we have understood what is our goal here, to move from tamas to rajas. from rajas to sattva. And vrittis we'll have to work on. Vrittis, actually, we are not working on vritti. We say chitta vritti nirodha. Vritti nirodha happens only the moment the mind becomes aware of itself. Vritti nirodha is not done. And gradually, you recognize the merit of it. As we all recognize the merit of deep sleep, and therefore, by hook or crook, we will ensure that we get at least 6 hours sleep each day. If we sleep, then only we become more and more healthy, rejuvenated, and therefore we have to. We have seen the merit of it. So once the mind becomes aware of itself, and the kind of energy it liberates, because that energy which was getting consumed in creating a vritti is now available for you. So the kind of energy it gives you, you see the merit of it, and therefore the mind also recognizes that creating more vrittis is not good for me. So mind will become supportive. It will automatically happen. But you should give that opportunity to your mind to experience it so more often that he starts appreciating this fact. So it is that endeavor where you will have to begin, and after a while, when your practice gains some momentum, it attains a critical mass, then it is self-driven. Such a person will hardly be engaged in the transactions of the world in a way we are engaged currently. Such a person will appreciate the fact and that motto which I say always, that we must only care for our peace of mind. But our mind says, no, my peace is not important. Rather, pieces of mind are okay because I have to deal with so many things. I have to solve so many problems. I have to settle scores with so many people. Right? That is Rajasic. Rajasic is also very justified. It's a justice-loving color. A Rajasic person will say, if somebody has been hurt by someone, if somebody has been, killed by someone, that person must be punished. If someone has cheated me, someone has hit me, he must get it back. If not, by my own physical activities or endeavors, I will not go and beat him, but let the law takes its own course. He must be punished. That is the Rajasic way of thinking. But what are we aiming at? We are aiming at Sattva. And that is reflected in our justice system as well. Let me tell you, even a murderer who have been sentenced to death can further appeal for mercy. What is mercy based out of? Mercy is based out of this hope that, okay, let's not punish him, let's give him a chance. So that means moving from Rajas to Sattva. Everywhere this is the movement. And the moment you become rooted in Sattva, you can easily forgive people for what they are, for what they have done. Fully recognize it is their incapacity. It is their vasana which drives them. They are actually good only. They are the victim of their vasana. So we will have compassion for such people instead of having some kind of remorse and contempt. So this is the second sutra. Third sutra, actually the Patanjali's gist of it. Whole Yoga Sutra is summarized. What you are going to get out of it. Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. See, in the first sutra, Patanjali says, what is it? Then second, how is it? And third, what will you get out of it? Very direct. No nonsense. Direct, step by step, Patanjali will talk. And that is why Patanjali is a grammarian. Patanjali is also a mathematician, because grammar is mathematics of language. Panini is an established, recognized grammarian of the Sanskrit language. You should know this. And therefore, by his own tonality of his mind, he is a mathematician. And mathematicians don't put even an extra dot in between, because if they place it, the whole thing is destroyed. You can't put a dot even in any numeric there. Not even a zero. The sequence cannot change. Mathematics is such. And therefore, Patanjali will go step by step. You follow Patanjali Yoga Sutras in toto, understand them, understand the Siddhantik Paksh, apply it in your life. That means engage in the Prayogik Paksh, and you will succeed like 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. No other option. So when it says Chitta Vritti Nirodha, methods will be given later. This is theoretical aspect, as I say. How it is done? By Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is done by Chitta Vritti, working on the mind stuff rather. Then what will you get? Tada Drashtu Swarupe Avastha. At that time, it says, the seer rests in his own state, unmodified, pristine state. Tada Drashtu Swarupe Avasthanam. Swarupe means Swarupa, your original form. Your original form is what? Shantakaram. What is Shantakaram, Bhujakshan? Even on the couch of snakes, you are Shanta. That is your Swarupa. And I can tell you, the newborn kids, etc., are like that. They don't have any fear of any such creature. On the cradle of snakes also, if you lay a child, he will not fear. He will stay there, smiling, playing, without any fear of snake bite. Yes or no? That is what Shantakaram is saying. Even if the world is venomous and if the place where you are resting, where you are situated, Shantakaram, Ashanti. This is Swarupe Avastha. Such a person is not bothered by it. Now, if not, Patanjali like a mathematician. This is equal to this. If this is not equal to this, then what? The Patanjali in the fourth sutra says, if not this, then what? Is it vritti sarupya itaratra? At other times, that means when drashta is not avasthit in his own swarupa, when the seer is not established in his own true nature, at other times, vritti sarupyam itaratra. Itar atra. At other times, vritti sarupyam. The seer is identified with the modifications. That means vrittis are the modifications of mind, subtly indicated. Vrittis are not the mind itself, it's a modification of mind. For example, you have rivers flowing from Himalayas to the ocean. The flow of water continues. But in between, you see the whirlpools. These whirlpools are seemingly unmoving. You may have seen it. They don't move. River moves. Whirlpools are stable. And this is what? In the flow, there is a stability because of this vritti, circular movement. That means if you are identified the vritti, you are stuck up. You are not following the natural flow of mind. Mind and time both are equivalent, as time cannot be experienced without references, mind cannot be experienced without references. Time. How do you experience? If suppose you are not given this watch, you are placed in a room which is always lit, and you don't have any other reference, and you're not given this watch, I'm sure you will lose the sense of time because there is no reference. Maybe a day feels like a week, or maybe weeks feel like a moment because there is no reference. Time is felt with reference. And in the same way, mind is felt with the references. Mind is felt without references means he is in that state, in that no mind state, drashta or the seer is established in his own swarupa. Mind is flowing without any reference. What is the reference of mind? जब मैं छोटा बच्चा था बड़ी शरारत करता था, अब मैं बुढ़ा हो गया गोली खा के जीता हूं. These are two references. Otherwise, what is the reference of time? Suppose there would have not been any change around, no references, then were you ever been able to experience time? Would you ever deduce that you have aged? You have aged, or the passage of time you are deriving out of these results. These are the references. Without these references, there is no place for time. Time and mind are same. Understand? In the sense. So, if you find a reference and get stuck up, create a vritti around it, then you get identified with it. Vritti sarupya mitaratra. The seer has become the vritti. For example, you say, I got angry. Tell me, when you got angry, did you know at that time that you are getting angry? And when the anger was at that peak, were you separate and anger was separate? No. Vritti sarupya mitaratra. You became the anger. You became jealousy. You became agitation. Vritti sarupyam. That vritti sarupya happens otherwise. Other states, vritti sarupya happens. That is what Patanjali says. If you are not established in your own swarupa, then you are definitely identified with vrittis. Now, Patanjali will say, then you'll ask, certainly you, as a logical mind, acha theek hai, vrittis, Patanjali sahab, you from the Sutra 2 itself, you are talking about vritti, yoga chitta vritti nirodha, and vritti sarupya vitaratra, again you are talking about vritti. What is this vritti? Patanjali knows this, that yes, as an honest student, as a sincere student, you are going to ask this, and therefore Patanjali himself comes in with the fifth sutra, says, vrittaya panchataya klishtaha klishtaha cha. Vrittis are of 5 types. He is not directly telling you about the vritti, but giving you hints. So that, see, a student has to be given something which he knows. You can't teach him anything new. So with reference to what he knows, you can teach him. So Patanjali will say, not can't define vritti directly. It is his own experience, cannot be told you, cannot be communicated to you without having taken help of things which you already know. So therefore, Patanjali is not burdening you with any new concept. He says, straight away he says, vrittaya panchataya klishta aklishta. Now, he has introduced an element which you know. Klishta, aklishta you know. Vritti you still don't know. But he says vrittis are of 2 types, klishta and aklishta. Klishta means difficult, troublesome, and aklishta means easygoing, pleasurable, sought after. Those are the 2 types of vrittis. Vrittis in our mind are pleasurable or easygoing. Vrittis of our mind are difficult and disturbing, pain causing, difficult to go through. Patanjali says, yeah, this much we know. Yes, we do feel sometimes good and sometimes bad. In certain vrittis we feel good, certain vrittis we don't feel good. So Patanjali has now, in a way, has clarified a little bit about vrittis, at least tonality wise. Acha, this is what vritti is. Feeling good or bad, probably. So these 2 types, I have experienced it. Okay, this is vritti. Patanjali says, no. Feeling this way is not. Now he further clarifies. Because he says 5 types of vrittis exist. Vrittaya panchataya. There are 5 types, and in these 5 types, every vritti, each one of these will be klishta aklishta. In the next sutra, Patanjali says, what are the vrittis types? 5 different categories. Panchataya: pramana, viparyaya, vikalpa, nidra, and smriti. Now, what is pramana? Direct perception. Viparyaya, inference. Vikalpa, that is pramana means direct experience, is right knowledge. Mostly we think that this is what our experience is, this is what the knowledge is. Right knowledge, pramana. Viparya, confusion. Right now, this should have been understood the other way. A snake assumed in the rope. That is viparya. We saw certain spots on the wall. Sitting in our commode mudra, we saw certain spots on the wall. We started meditating on them, and then we saw, oh, I see Sai Baba's face there. Viparya. Okay. Then vikalpa. Vikalp means delusion. Verbal delusion means so many options. Vikalpa. When you look at a thing, you're not clear what it is. And then you start projecting. It is this, it is this, it is this. Sort of imagination. That is vikalpa. Actually, the word kalpana comes from this vikalpa only. Then comes smriti, memory, and nidra, and sleep. 5 types. That is right knowledge, indiscrimination, verbal delusion, sleep, and memory. You will say Patanjali has talked about sleep, and most of others are possible in only waking. What about dream? Dream is mix of smriti and vikalpa is your dream state. It need not be defined separately. Like in other systems, we clearly define what is the states of consciousness. What are the states of consciousness? We say 3 or 4. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, Samadhi. These are the 4. And systems define also. In Shiv Sutra, for example, Swapna has been defined as Swapno Vikalpaha. So, if we go by that understanding of Shiv Sutra, Vikalpa is Swapna. And Vikalpa is also wherever you are projecting imagination. And what the dream is mostly your imagination based on your smritis, colored in your vasana. Dreams are your vikalpa, that means imagination, taking help of your smritis, which means sanskaras, based on your vasana. The whole hue of this will be vasana. Vasana will be. So vasana is projected in your dreams. Now that should also be understood here clearly, that Patanjali, when he is saying 5 types of vrittis and they are klishta, aklishta both. So that means right knowledge can be klishta and aklishta both. Okay, how? Happy New Year, and I offer you a cactus bare hand. Offer to you. Full of thorns. You'll say, what kind of gift this is? Klishta. I offer you a rose. Well cut, well dressed up. Aklishta. Direct experience. Both are the gifts. But in one case, we are saying klishta. Another case, we are saying aklishta. Viparya, as I said, in indiscrimination, where I saw something and then I started assuming it to be something else, not knowing that I'm assuming, I'm taking it that way. For example, when you see two cups placed side by side, this is a very common psychological experiment where it is said, either you can see the 2 cups or you can see 2 faces looking at each other. So that means at the time when you are seeing a cup and you miss out the faces, I am seeing a cup. Other person says, I am seeing 2 faces, I am not seeing a cup. So that is viparya. Presuming something based on your own bhavana, on your vasana, you derive it. In your vasana, if you are eager to see beauty, maybe you see a cup, a beautiful cup. If you are eager to interact with people, you are people oriented, then you will see 2 faces. You will not see cup. So viparya is based on your vasana, sanskaras. the current vritti which is active. So, anyways, Pramad, Viparya, Vikalp, Nidra, Smriti, these are the vrittis, and I am just giving you a brief account of that, all these vrittis in both the aspects of them, both the categories, klishta, klishta. Taking a thing altogether different as it is not. That is Viparya. That is why it is said indiscrimination. Further, further, I have already explained. Now there can be two things, right? I'll give you the positive indiscrimination. In this kind of not so well lit area, you are passing by on the road, you see something shining, and you jump onto it and think that yes, I found a coin. And बाद में कहा, "ए, थूकते भी ऐसा ही है, थूकते भी चवन्नी की तरह कैसे लोग हैं?" So that is viparya, positive viparya in the beginning, which happened to be something negative. Okay, move to the next. Nidra. Nidra is also of two types, and most of us have experienced it. One nidra which rejuvenates you, and you feel as if you have slept, well slept, restful sleep, aklishta sleep. And on the other day, you find your sleep to be disturbed, klishta sleep. Come out of it. You feel as if you have been beaten up in a police booth by 5 constables, body aching. Nothing worked. Your sleep was accomplished. When you are not rested, you don't feel like rested, you don't feel like rejuvenated, you don't feel energetic. Rather, after coming out of sleep, you are feeling as if you are having more pain than you had earlier. Is it what? It's klishta sleep, klishta nidra. Then smriti. Smriti, I don't have to tell you. You have so many memories which are aklishta. Many times you would want, I remember visiting that place and having so many rasagullas. That is aklishta smriti. But next associated with is klishta. I had enough and then I had a stomach ache. That is smriti, which is klishta smriti. So our mind stuff is moves from one vritti to another vritti. Their mind stuff, in this modifications happen and these vrittis are formed. For Patanjali, nidra is also a vritti. And vritti nirodha means what? Even nidra has to be stopped. That means this nidra or this sleep which you are engaged in currently is not the sleep Patanjali is expecting. Patanjali wants to give you another way to sleep. And that has been translated into practice, which is known as yoga nidra. You sleep, but you don't sleep. You continue to sleep and snore, but as soon as the instructor comes up and says, okay, become aware of your body, become aware of your breathing, you're awake. So yoga nidra of 20-30 minutes is more than, gives you more restful experience than as compared to the sleep, which you would probably achieve in 2 hours. More relaxation, more rejuvenation, more energy. Patanjali says, nidra is also a vritti. You should convert it into aklishta, and the means are given. Although Patanjali Yoga Sutra directly does not give it, later masters, and let me further tell you, Patanjali Yoga Sutras are the sutras for the masters of yoga, not the students of yoga. They are reference books. You can't refer to Patanjali Yoga Sutras and can say, I am deriving my own practices out of it. Even if Patanjali has somewhere given hint of it. Patanjali has always given hints. Hints very precise and very, I'll say, upfront. Although It is so clear and direct from Patanjali, but you cannot derive a practice. Only a master of yoga will weave a practice around that principle. So you should be clear, Patanjali Sutras are not for the students, they are for the teachers. Further, Patanjali goes on to explain of what exactly Pramana is, Viparya, Vikalpa, Nidra and Smritis are. I don't think you have to go into much of detail, but let us go through the sutras one by one and you'll understand. Pramana. Pramana means proof. Whatever I have seen is my proof. How many of types of it? It is my direct understanding, direct perception, right knowledge, direct perception, inference, competent evidence, and are the proof. There are three types of proof. First, I have seen it. Somebody says, so you tell someone that this is what I claim. How can you claim? What is pramana? I have seen it, direct perception. They say, how can you say there was fire? No, lot of smoke was coming out. Inference. That is also right knowledge. Inference. Then, I know there are electrons. Have you seen them? No. Have you tasted them? No. No. Books of physics have this concept. I have found them written in such and such book. Okay. Again a proof. Pramana. That means your understanding is only of these three categories. Either it is direct perception, pramana, direct perception, pramana as inference, pramana as the word of masters. Masters of physics have told there are electrons, protons, etc. We have never seen. We believe them. What do we refer to? Such and such book. Go back. In the same way, you have not seen Atma. You have not seen Kali, Durga, Ganpati. You have not seen Vishnu. No one. You have not seen Bhairav. You have not seen Yakshini. You have not seen anything. Books tell you. You have not seen Tattvas. You don't know what Ahankara is. Go back to books. Yes, sir. Our scriptures tell us. You have not seen your past lives, future lives, karma. You have not seen. You believe. That is how the pramana are. And on the pramana also you have klishta, aklishtha. Ek pramana hai that you will get, if you have done good, you will get good. Klishta or aklishta. Aklishta. Then another thing is written. And if you do bad, you'll get bad. It is klishta. Right? Supporting your vasana, whatever it is, will be seen as aklishta. Okay? So, sutra says, Pratyakshanumanagamah pramanani. This is the sutra. Pratyaksha anumana agama. Agam means, in the spiritual matters, words of masters. These are the pramana. What is viparya? Viparyayo mithya jnana atadrup pratishtitam, which means indiscrimination is false knowledge, not established in its real nature. Correct? Now, as we have seen, snake in the rope. Atadrup pratishtitam. Although it is not so, but we feel it that way. That is viparya. Viparya also of two types, I have already explained. Then what is vikalpa? Shabda jnananupati vastu shunyo vikalpa. Have you seen lemon? Do you know lemon? When it is cut and suppose your mouth is opened and a lemon is squeezed in your mouth, what will happen? I can see that all of you gulped your saliva. You see, what I used was shabda only. Shabda created jnana. There was no vastu shunya, shunyata of vastu, absence of vastu. But you experienced it. This is Shabda Jnananupati Vastu Shunyo Vikalpa. The person, the event, nothing is there. It is only Shabda. And you cannot imagine a thing about which there is no equivalent word. Acha, do you know there is an animal called Huklulu? Do you know? Huklulu. Why? Because this word you don't know. And therefore it will not be able to create any vastu. Vastu in Vikalpa is created because of word, Shabda Jnananupati. So your mind suffers from what? Your smritis of past and your projections of future. And they all are experienced at the level of words. So look at this world without the words. Don't define anything. That's the way to become free of vikalpa. And when you look at this world without giving any word to anything, you are already in nirvikalpa sthiti because there is no vikalpa. Vikalpa means sabda jnananupati vastu shunya vikalpa. Vastus are there, but there are no words. It's nirvikalpa. Right? There is no imagination. Living a life which is not a suffering created out of your imagination is nirvikalpa samadhi. Don't suffer on the account of your imaginations. At least you have started moving towards nirvikalpa samadhi. Abha. Then next, what is nidra? Patanjali defines it in the 10th sutra. Abhav pratyavalambana vrittir nidra. When you take refuge or alamban or rest on what? Abhav pratyavalamban. You take rest on nothingness. Means your mind is not resting on anything, but whatever it is resting on or dwelling on is nothingness. When that happens, this vritti is called nidra. Abhav pratyavalambana vrittir nidra. How do you sleep? First, go into your room. That means leave the world behind. Then you come to your bed. Leave the room behind. Then put all your mind under your pillow. Put the mind also. What remains? Nothing. In this nothingness, when you take refuge, that is called nidra. Abhav pratyay alambana vrittir nidra. What is a smriti or memory? Anidra can be of two types. I need not go back again and again tell you that these are vrittis and they are always of two contrasts. There is contrast. Klishta. Anubhuta vishaya asampramosha smritihi. That is, memory is when the vrittis of perceived subjects do not slip away from our mind space. That is called smriti. Anubhuta vishaya asampramosha. Whatever I have experienced still feels alive in my mind space. That is called vritti. This vritti is called smriti. It does not leave my mind. Or it appears in my mind. Whenever it appears in my mind, it has already come and not leaving. That is why it is experienced now. So, anubhuta vishaya asampramosha smriti. When the vastu or anubhuta vishaya or the experienced subjects come in your mind space and get stuck up there, they are called smriti. After having defined this, Patanjali says, okay, enough of theory. Let me give you some hint about practical what you have to do. In 12th sutra, Patanjali says, okay, you have understood that yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. We will get into chitta vritti nirodha. And you will also get rid of the freedom from the klishta or klishta vrittis, and the vritti will cease to exist. How? Now, some practical. He says, abhyasa vairagya abhyam tan nirodha. There are the two things, abhyasa and vairagya. Patanjali is a compassionate master. He uses the word abhyasa first. He does not use a vairagya first. He says, abhyasa vairagya abhyam tan nirodha. Whenever I want to give you a method and I want to engage you, I want to make you feel at home, even this while describing something which is maybe difficult, no problem. We accept that it may be difficult. But if I want to encourage you, what will I tell you first? I'll tell you these are the things you should do. Samjho, please understand from the... So Patanjali is psychologist as well. He says, abhyasa. Then further he says, abhyasa. ठीक हो जाएगा. वैराग्य ये तो बड़ा मुश्किल है. ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं बेटा, अभ्यास करो पहले. Do अभ्यास. The control of such, all this, the vrittis are controlled by abhyasa and vairagya. Regular practice and abhyasa. along with coupled with vairagya, dispassion. So from first sutra to 12th sutra we have run through just to put you on this page. Hope that this is not go waste as we begin from here work for the sutras. Abhyas vairagyabhyam tannirodha. Please remember this. Abhyas vairagyabhyam. You'll have to practice. Practice means work on your mind. And vairagya means dispassion. Dispassion for the world. Dispassion is created by right understanding, which is called a viveka. With the right kind of discrimination, you develop vairagya. Vairagya is not a thing which you can develop directly. Dispassion is fructification or the maturity of viveka, discrimination, put into practice leads to vairagya. So for today, this much. Good summary so far. I hope you enjoyed it. It has put things in perspective. Now here on, we can quickly move, and with all previous understanding which we have about Patanjali Yoga Sutras, one thing is clear to us, and that is yoga means working on the mind. And the method is also clear. Abhyasa vairagya. By practice and dispassion. Thank you so much. Let's pray and then we'll. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyid dukha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shiva.